Node-RED flows can branch by adding a second wire to the output of any node. This will cause the runtime to send a copy of the message down every wire as separate events. But sometimes we want the flow to route messages based on some condition. This can either be based on a property of the message or on some wider state. For many cases, the switch node can be used to do this. The switch node allows you to identify a message property or context value that you want to test, and then a series of conditions to use. Each condition maps to a different output from the node. Let's see it in action. In this example, we have an MQTT node that is subscribed to a topic to receive commands from another system. All of the messages arrive on the same topic and the payload contains the name of the command to perform. By adding a switch node, we can check the value of the payload and pass the message to the corresponding output. We can then wire each output to the appropriate flow to perform the command. To improve the layout of the flows, we can introduce link nodes so the command flows can be separated out or even placed on different tabs. The switch node can also make use of context to help make routing decisions. In this example, we are receiving a temperature reading from a device and want to raise an alarm if the reading goes above a certain threshold. To begin with, we can use a switch node with a hard-coded value for the threshold. But if we change that to compare against a flow context value, we can now dynamically change the threshold by setting the flow context value in a separate flow. In this example, I've connected some inject nodes to a change node to set the threshold to some predefined values. Context can also be used to route messages without regard for their content. For example, this switch node tests the flow.active context property and only passes messages to its output if the context value is true. Whilst the switch node does provide a wide range of tests it can perform, it is designed to test against just one message or context property. If you want to route messages based on some comparison between multiple message properties, then some more advanced techniques are required. This is where you can use the JSON expression type in the property field. For example, let's say you have a message that contains an internal and external temperature reading, and you want to branch your flow based on the difference between those two readings. In the property field, we can change it to the JSON expression type and use it to calculate the difference between the values. We can then add rules based on that difference. Finally, you can also fall back to using a function node to build whatever custom logic you want to route your messages. Function nodes can have as many outputs as you want, and you can choose which output a message is passed to by either returning or calling node.send with the appropriately structured array. The documentation for the function node covers how to do this in some detail.